this is about installing the EHS fuel tuner and AIS delete on a 2020 Grizzly XTR. So just a quick, I already removed all these things and I kind of have the tuner installed, but I just quickly wanted to do a quick video on what I did. So over here, if you see, this is the battery cover. This needs to come off first. Then this thing is over here, over the airbox and all that. So this needs to come out come off. This thing is just held with 4 tabs. So all you do is put your fingers in it and just pull it up, pop it up. So pretty easy stuff. Don't have to overthink it. This thing is in it, and it has 2 bolts over here that goes right here, and 1 bolt right here. So you do that, and then you have 2 things that you pop in over here. That's over the side covers. So they are just the clips like this that you just have to pop, kind of like that, and take it out. All right, so this thing comes out, just leave it in the park. I've heard videos where it says move it to neutral and do all that stuff. Not necessarily. Leave it in the park and just wiggle this slowly out of here, okay? So that's that. When you do that, there are four screws over here. So remove those screws. Those screws goes over here in the storage box, and over here you see that nut. I lost one of these nuts. It kind of fell off, and it fell inside the engine. It took me several hours to find that thing. So try not to drop that thing. So those are the 4 screws that you remove. You need to remove the airbox lid to get to the bolt over here to remove this thing out of the way. So I'm going to quickly show you how to remove that out of the way. Move that out of the way. Move that, and then just pull it gently, and this thing comes off. So the way it is connected is you get 2 connections over here. So this was the original connection that was going into the injector. So you take this connector, you just connect the gray connector out. Just press on the tab right here, and it comes off. And put the EHS tuner gray connector here, and the black connector that comes from EHS tuner into the gray connector from the factory. So that's how it's connected. And you see, that's how I routed the wires for the connector right there. So that was kind of a little predicament for me as to how and where the wire goes without binding. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Most of the videos, nobody shows how to route the wires. So the way I'm routing the wires, I don't know if it's perfect or not. So basically, I'm routing them over here away from the steering, and it is protected from the steering over here, so it doesn't bind. I left it loose, and then just go around it, and the cover will sit on it. So that's how I've wired my EHS tuner. Right now it's just hanging over here, and I'm gonna stick it up on the lead once I put the lead on. So that's how the EHS tuner has been set up. All right, so put the bolt back on for the lid, for the storage box. This thing's hanging over here fairly loose, so it doesn't bind anywhere. And put the lead back on. You need to take the lead off to reach to this. Make sure the gasket is proper. Right, lid is in. I had a lead. I had the air intake bolt missing over here, so I had to do that. And give me the video real quick. All right, so basically, this is the AIS delete, the air induction system. That's where it pulls air into the exhaust to burn off the remainder of the fuel, any extra fuel for emission stuff like that. It makes the machine run a little hotter, and on some of the older machine has had the popping issue. So most people are on the forums and stuff, they said it's block it off. So I just put a bypass rubber blocker over here and put the hose on it. It was kind of hard to put it on, just put lots of WD-40, and you can see that this clamp is kind of maxed out. So that clamp was hard to get on, but didn't want to run to the store to get another clamp, so I somehow got it on it, and it's all good now. But it's not gonna budge. Hopefully we never have to mess with it, so it's all good. So did that, and we're gonna start the machine, and we're gonna show you exactly how the programming works. So the reason I did this AIS controller is, the EHS controller, is not to get more power or anything like that, but to really run the machine, make the machine run cooler. From the factory, it comes pretty lean, and if you get on it, it basically gets the machine run pretty hot. So everything I read, based on that, it seems like we need to add a little bit more fuel, and by adding more fuel, it runs cooler. So let's see what it does. Okay, I don't know how much cooler it's going to run in Texas heat, but we'll try. So quick rundown on the EHS controller. So once we start this thing, so it cycles like that. So that just shows us that it was installed properly. And what it does is it gives you a set of instructions, and the set of instructions says we need to pick the setting, which setting is the best. So since we did not do any of the mods, the mod that we need to do is the stock mod with or without tip. Well, we don't have a tip, so we're going to do regardless, we're going to do that mod right there. This is the first one. So we have to make sure that the green is 3.5, yellow is 2.5, red is 2, and then green blue is 5, yellow is 2.5, and then red blue is 3. So what does that mean, right? So what that means is when we cycle over here, first button we press, right? So this is the first one. 3 and 4 is blinking, that means it's 3.5, so we're good. Then the second one is yellow, so 2 and 3 is blinking, so that means it's 2.5, 3.5, 2.5, and then we go to red, only 2 is blinking, that means it's 2. If we add more, it would go 2 and 3, and that means it's 2.5. So that's how you add more, right? That's how you add. If it's blinking right there, then press 1, then it would go to press plus sign, it goes to 4. So that's how the programmer basically works. So got my sheet. So again, green, yellow, red. 3.5, 2.5, 2. Then we go to green and blue. You can see it's on 5. Then we go on is 2.5. The yellow is 2.5, like it says in the setting right here. And then red. Then we gotta go to red and blue, and red is 3. So that says red, blue is 3. So that's what it means. So hopefully that's you understand how this instruction works. They're pretty straightforward, but it can be confusing when you watch on videos and stuff like that. So that's the instructions I followed. I showed you how to. So I showed you how I routed the wires right here. I took the ground wire and I put it over here and into the negative terminal over here. So that's exactly how I've done the install. Hopefully no hiccups and no pinching, nothing, and that's it. And then I'm gonna put this thing up and button it up together. So that's the EHS fuel controller upgrade or a fuel controller install and the AIS delete. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I will check them and I'll reply back. Thanks for watching. Here's the quick overview of the instructions. These instructions are pretty good if you really take time to understand what they are trying to tell you. It looks intimidating first, but it's really not. If you know how to open your ATV, just take the plastics off, which on a Yamaha it can be kind of interesting if you're coming from Honda or something like that. I told you that you need to take the battery cover off, take the cover off over here, the plastic off over here, and then once you want to take the sides off, there is a bolt over here that you need to take off, and then you just pull the cover over top and just do it. Now, so that's what the first few steps of the instructions are explaining over here, okay? And then over here is what they're talking about, the routing the wires and all that stuff. So they go through that pretty quickly, but it's really not that difficult. You just have to, if you're doing it for first time, it might be intimidating, but just follow the instructions. It's pretty straightforward. I showed you before in the video, and then over here it shows you that it needs to how it needs to blink in order for it to be ready for tuning. And then you basically come over here and figure out which one is your setting. I came very close to buying the duals, but when I actually watched the EHS Racing's video, EHS Racing basically showed that the maximum gains you get are with the slip-on. Not maximum gains, but the maximum bang for your buck is with the slip-on. So maybe in the future I'll do a slip-on a slip-on exhaust on it, but or the exhaust tip on it, and we'll basically go do the, well, excuse me, with the tip is what is aftermarket tip, and then the slip-on is right here, and the stock lead. So maybe in the future we'll probably do that, but it's really not necessary. Now these settings over here are really, this is where it talks about how to add the fuel and what stages, and this is what it talks about how quickly the fuel is added when you step on the gas. So that's what is explained in this instructions over here, and when you mess with it, what happens. So this, if you read through this, if you really want to get that technical, then you just read through this stuff, and that's what the instructions are showing. So yeah, it's pretty detailed instructions, and I'm probably going to read through all of it, even though mine is installed. So that's where we are. Here's the reason that I chose not to go with the duals, is at some point I really want to upgrade my shocks to LCAS. Might be now, might be, well, won't be now. It might be 2 years from now, who knows. But the dual exhaust kind of hangs over here, and it messes with the the Elka shock reservoir. So that's the reason I chose not to go with it. And then when I watched EHS Racing's video and the dyno graphs and all that stuff, I just didn't see the reason to spend $900 on an exhaust with shipping and all that stuff and taxes and over $900 to just to get a very cool sound. It does make a very, very cool sound. So that's what my decision factor was. Not gonna make it loud. I was kind of worried about it being too loud, but it does sound awesome. But I was not gonna spend 900 bucks on sound at this moment. So that's the gist of it. My decision making on why to do just the controller, so hopefully the Grizzly runs cooler. So I'll report back on that. This is only first time I'm putting this on too. So not a pro. I'm struggling just like somebody who will probably watch this video. And people who don't want to watch this video are probably people who don't need to know how to put this thing on. They already know this. Just line all these things up, nice and easy. There we go. Everything lined up. It's hot in Texas. All right, time to put this thing on.
It's not even 100 degrees today.
I remember this one was a pain to even put it in or take it out. So I kind of expected that this is going to be a pain putting it in. Okay. Bending it just a little bit.
Yay.
So the same bolts that we took out from here also goes over here.
I need to show you this part. That's a tricky.
Squeeze this thing in a little bit. Like I'm binding somewhere, so something seems to not line up.
Is it lined up now?
Not sure.
Hmm?
Well, I got it threaded on. I got this bolt threaded, so that means it's lined up.
Good. Good enough.
Yeah, I lost several hours finding one of these things because right now, little parts in Yamaha, no dealerships keep this in stock. So if I lost that, that means I cannot put everything on, and I had to wait for it to come. So putting another one off that thing on this side. This looks like it might be a little bit easier on this side. I have it lined up.
Can't see it. Left side is so much easier than the right side.
I have no idea how this thing broke. I definitely didn't break this thing. I believe it came from a company like this. So that's interesting. I've been finding out a lot of tidbits about stuff. I was very gentle not to pull these things, so I know for sure I didn't break it. Missing bolts, missing A-arm guards. It's been an interesting experience. Up everything correctly over here. The hose is back in over here. Woo! It's hot. I'm drenched. sweating all over my clean Grizzly.
I'm gonna.
Put this little clips on. Uh-oh. And finally, the cover. Bring it closer over here. So the cover goes into this little tabs here, like that. And then you just go in there, make sure the tabs that I showed you guys earlier, they line up, and boom, push it in. One lines up, other one will line up. Just put it in. Okay, all nicely buttoned up. Get my hose out of the way. Okay, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Put these screws on. See how this could have come off because that thing was not in it properly. I'm gonna use a regular screwdriver. It's not grabbing, so something is interesting going on.
Try other.
Don't want to over tighten that thing. That one grabbed, so that was good. Let's try this one here. Not grabbing either. Not sure what's going on. That one grabbed. I'm thinking that it's something to do with the way it was installed from factory, that this did not grab, and because of that I dropped it in there somewhere. So let's see if I can mess with this one. Not grabbing at all.
I'll try the other one.
I'm gonna try this one again. That one grabbed. Need to over tighten it. All right, see if we can figure this one out. Okay, so it's grabbing. And now I'm gonna push it down and see if. So it's like a little compression nut, kind of like the way the nut certs work, where it goes in and it grabs and it give that thing real quick. So once it grabs, it bubbles up like that from being straight. It flattens out like that. So this one on this side was not grabbing. It was a little work, but I got it to grab. And I'm threading it in right now. Not applying much force, just turning it gently, and that should be it. So one thing I've noticed compared to my Kodiak, because this lead is painted, there's not enough room over here. So when you close it, it kind of stays bubbled up like that. So interesting. All right, so that should be it. And
Seat.
this is a little thing that they provide, EHS provide, to take this controller, and gives you an option to stick it up over here so it's not dangling inside. So I'm gonna put that on. So first I'm gonna I don't think it matters which one goes on which side. So I'm just gonna stick this one in. I'm not gonna worry about cleaning it with alcohol and all that stuff. It falls. There is where I'm gonna put it. Try and making sure that the wires don't stretch too much. That's how you're gonna use it. Turn it, use it, put it back on. That's it. My newly done seat. If I don't drop it again, it seems like I cannot grab the seat, keep dropping it. Okay. I think that should do it. Okay, let's fire it up and take it for a little spin. If you can follow me around. One thing I noticed that when I did this seat, redid this seat after being torn, I think this less cushiony with that hard, or not hard, but thicker vinyl. Not a big wheelie person, so I don't know if it's gonna wheelie or not, but definitely rides good, feels good, so I'm happy with it. I'll report on if it's running cold or hot, or hotter or cooler. I'll report on that. I took it for a spin. Fan came on for a little bit, but again, Texas heat, can't really tell if it's running super cold. I don't think it's gonna run cold, but it's definitely running cooler. I can feel that. As far as power goes, I think it has more power. No two ways about it. I don't know if that power comes from just sheer more power, or comes from better fuel delivery. So sometimes better fuel delivery, and all that makes it feel more power than maybe it is more power. But in my opinion, there is definitely a little bit of increase in power. No power for wheelies or some stuff like that without pulling up, but definitely power enough to feel it. Where if you don't know what you're doing, if you're doing silly things, the tail end will walk out on you in two-wheel drive. So I'm pretty happy with it. I say do it, but again, I'll report back more. But you can see how the temperatures are dropping, and I came back from a pretty hard run, and it's pretty hot here too, and I was riding inside the woods. So riding inside the woods, it's definitely gets hotter quicker, and I think it did pretty good. So I say I'm pretty happy with the money spent, $230 or something with shipping in Texas and everything. So if you have one of these machines, I definitely think there is no harm in doing that, this little mod, and making it run cooler. So there you have it, my EHS fuel tuner and AIS delete video. Thanks for watching from Urban Acres.